Welcome to Burn the Ship. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We talk to people that have walked the walk, talked the talk, been through all the things that you experience as a small business owner, and come on this platform to share those skills and experiences with us so that we can be more effective entrepreneurs. So, Randy, thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
I appreciate the time very much. The audience appreciates the time very much. Any opportunity that we have to learn from someone with as much experience as yourself, we do not take for granted. So thank you very much for that. But in the spirit of Burn the Ship, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, good. Well, first off, let me say this gray hair is all real, Bailey. It's not painted in. I've been doing this a long time, and I've been out of my own in my own business for well over 30 years. Uh, and so, in many respects, I am an entrepreneur, but my journey started back years and years and years ago when I was in college. Um, I had a job. I don't know about you, but have you ever had a job you go, wait a minute, work ought to be easier than this, right? My boss
Absolutely.
ought to be better than this. And I had at the same job the the best boss I ever had and one of the worst bosses I ever had. The same job. And so I sort of became infatuated with building great organizations back then. And then I had a chance to go put that into practice. I was one of the three senior people that was tasked with opening a residential treatment facility, fully accredited hospital for children and adolescents in the state of Texas. And we decided that we wanted to build a different kind of organization. From there, I was recruited into a boutique consulting firm, entrepreneurial lesson. I became a partner after about 2 years and quickly learned that being a minority partner in a closely held business has way more risk than it does advantages
Sure.
uh, from a legal standpoint. So I went out on my own, and I've been doing it myself ever since. And basically, what I do is I help leaders and their organizations deliver consistent positive results in an environment that's seemingly more complex, more uncertain, and has more change in it than ever before.
So tell me, what are the things that you see, right? Like, what are some of the generalizations that you've been able to make, especially recently with where we stand in the small business world today? Are there recurring problems or areas that need to be addressed that you see kind of span multiple industries?
What a great question. The answer is yes. I mean, I think if you look at it, I want to look at it from three perspectives. First off, from the business owner perspective, there's a hard time recruiting people. I'm hearing that in many, many industries. By the way, some of that's driven by demographics. There are just fewer people than there are jobs right now. So
Sure.
it is a seller's market for talent. That makes it hard. Technology changes make it very, very difficult to keep up with what's going on. I used to say technology is a tool. I was meeting with a small business client of mine this morning, and we said, look, technology specifically around how do we leverage artificial intelligence has to become a strategic advantage for the business that they're in. And I think it's that way for everyone. So technology is an issue. Certainly for small business, complexity of regulatory and regulations, whether it be local, state, national, whatever that might be. The regulatory environment's changing. There's a great deal of uncertainty. The cost of money is more. I mean, all those challenges that business owners face. So that's one level. Um, in the meantime, at the customer level, they just want to be, they want us to be faster, better, cheaper, and friendlier.
Sure.
And so you've got those two things seemingly bumping heads against each other. And then we live in a world where it's just increasingly more uncertain and complex. And even if you're a small business, you're living in Georgia, I'm living in Texas. Um, you know, we'll talk about whether it's Texas or Georgia ends up at the college football championship or not. But um, it doesn't matter where you're located. You part of your business is international. I mean, it doesn't matter where something is there. So there's that complexity. So it's like it for a small business, you're trying to play. We think we're playing checkers, but really we're playing three-dimensional chess.
Right.
And by the way, small business, we're right there in it running our business. I mean, I don't know about
Right.
you. but I am level 0 and level 1 tech support for my business. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, and it goes across every industry. It's more competitive now than it's ever been before. You know, if you have something you're doing that's working, get ready because somebody's going to copy it very quickly.
Sure. Sure. No, that's it. That you're not wrong. It's very interesting perspective, especially from the customer level. I mean, the expectations of your customers continue to progress and expect you to provide a service at a higher level for less cost and a better overall experience. When it seems that maybe the other side of that seesaw for small businesses is that things continue to get more complex and difficult. There seems to be more regulatory compliance and mandates and more industries than ever, mixed with some level of government assistance, money flowing back into the small business world from the government. So there's a lot of complexity there. So maybe walk me through it chronologically, right? Like if you're talking to someone that has a proof of concept, has product market fit, really understands what it is they're going to sell to who, for what, and all those systems established, at least
At
internally.
least begun,
How do you,
right?
yeah, right. How do you begin to guide those people? What do you tell those people to look out for? And what do you tell those people to lean into and let it be their superpower?
Well, another great question. So the very first thing I'm going to do is ask a question, and that is I want to look at the business and understand, do we have a revenue problem or a profitability and execution problem? You know, there's some of us that there's some businesses that are great business, they're well run, they just need more revenue. Now, by the way, everybody says, I want more revenue. Believe it or not, I had one of my clients about a year and a half ago, saw their profit margin, their profit double by getting rid of 20% of their business, 20% of their
Really?
customers, because they stopped serving bad business. It's like there's an old story about the hot dog vendor in New York. He's very successful running all those hot dog stands. His kid goes off to City College, comes back at Christmas break, and looks at his dad's books and says, Dad, you lose money on every hot dog. And his dad says, yeah, I know, but I'm making it up on volume. And there are a lot of businesses out there that they need to understand their profitability first. They also we need to figure out is it a revenue problem or a profit problem? So that's the first question. The second question is, do you have a team in place? It could be direct team like employees. It could be a virtual team as more and more people are doing. Do you have a team in place that has the talent and capacity to help you grow? Because when I was in high school, I played basketball. I was not a great player, but I was a regular player. And I remember one of the things that my coach told me is, you can't teach tall.
That's true.
And so sometimes we do need to go out and find better players, taller players, right? So I'm going to look at that second. Do you have the team in place? Third thing I'm going to look at is, what's keeping you from executing on the plans that you have? We're recording this at the end of December. This will probably air in January. Everyone set their annual goals. We all have great goals. We look great on January. We're very optimistic. But what's keeping you consistently from achieving your goals? And through our planning process that we take clients through, we have a way to help them not only identify goals, but set more realistic goals. And the thing that I look for, Bailey, is this. There's probably one thing. I don't know if you ever heard that saying growing up about getting down to the crux of the matter.
Sure.
Yeah, well, the crux is that one thing. And it's the one thing that if you made an impact on that, it would allow everything else to fall into place. That's one of the things that we want to find out is, what is that one thing? What is that crux? That if we hit that, everything else gets easier.
Let me ask you this from the perspective of a small business owner, and from the perspective of someone like myself who takes this consultative approach to trying to solve problems for business owners. A lot of times what I see or at least what I perceive, is that when business owners attempt to do things to solve problems, sometimes those graduate into bigger problems, right? Or sometimes they find ways to manifest themselves in different ways. It's like you're always putting, it's kind of like your body compensating for another,
Right.
from basketball player to basketball player. Your left ankle's injured. Well, your right one's going to hurt in a week or two. You know what I
Right.
mean? So how do you diffuse or establish a system that doesn't allow, or at least mitigates the risk of problems rearing their head in another shape or form in the future?
Well, first off, you got to understand growth is a great problem to
Absolutely.
have. I mean, so managing growth, there's always going to be a problem. That's the problem you want to solve. I want things to pop up. If my revenue is going up, I want the operation side pushing back, going, we can't keep up. That tension is a good tension. So, the first thing I'm going to ask a business owner is, when they're telling me they have that tension, all right, is it a good tension? Is it one fueled by growth, that you're facing new challenges? Or is it something that comes from, we just missed it, right? We just missed it and we didn't think about it. Now, the missing it, didn't think about it problems, I think it helps us to slow down a little bit, because, we're entrepreneurs. We want to move fast, right? We want to move fast. It helps us to slow down and go, okay, first off, what has to go absolutely right for this to work? And these are the two questions I ask. What has to go absolutely right, and what can't go wrong? And then from there, I want to use those two questions to identify where some of those um, unrecognized, unplanned for issues might come up. The other third question, if I were going to ask, is, if 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 we do this, when we do this, what are the other challenges is this going to create in other parts of our business? So I would look for those three questions before you implement a big idea, and that will help you stay focused.
I can agree with that as well. And tell me the conversations that you have with your employees regarding technology. I think the perception is that technology can add a lot of functionality to your business in a way that allows you to solve problems in a really unique way. It gives you that perception of some competitive edge, contrary to your competition. Do you give people a forlorn idea of over expecting the deliverable from technology, or do you endorse specific things that maybe are more bang for your buck? How do you approach that conversation with people?
Well, technology is that's a changing conversation, really.
Sure.
2 years ago, I would say you have to have the basics of technology to be in the business. That's, it was a business basic that wasn't really a game changer, because it was just a basic. I mean, you in your real job do credit card, right? You do credit card process.
Right.
You know what? If somebody's got to do that. There's a basic that you have to have. So first off, there's that piece, and you have to have that in place. Now, that could be credit card, it could be financial system, it could be an ERP system, it could be an inventory system, depending on your business. I think the bigger question for today is, once those basics are in place, where is the opportunity to leverage technology, specifically artificial intelligence? Where's the opportunity to leverage that to gain either a cost advantage or a value add advantage? So I look at it in two levels. First, basics. You have to have this. But now, how do I use technology to either slow down the creep of my cost, because that's always going up, or how do I use it to add more value to my clients? So, for example, I have this client that manages homeowner associations, which, by the way, is a pretty thankless job.
Yes.
Yes, but one of the conversations we have in our planning is, how do we use artificial intelligence to help residents find answers quicker, so that they don't have to be on the phone waiting for someone to answer the phone and get back to them. Now, that's a use of technology that is a value add, which they believe is going to set them apart in their marketplace today. But here's the thing about technology. Um, it's a moving target, and what's brand new today is going to be everybody's doing it by next month.
Sure. Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. I think that there's a lot of weight thrown into the technology world today that is maybe a little bit of that shiny jewelry syndrome. You know what I mean? Is a little bit of the falling in love with the bling, and I can understand that as well. I think that looking at things from a very high level, it seems like kind of one of your superpowers has been the ability to apply logic to human problems, right? You're able to dissect things down and compartmentalize different parts of these problems and explain them in a very layman's term way that lets people know that there is an avenue around these things, and there is a language in which you can teach yourself to think that'll allow you to learn how to solve problems for small businesses. Um, would you agree with those same terms, or
Yeah,
would
I
you
mean,
maybe think
I
that you have
would.
a different superpower?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I take pretty complex issues and figure out a way to make them easier, more digestible. And I think all business at its core are people businesses. Uh,
Absolutely.
if you have an employee, if there's more than just you, you have a people business. And
Absolutely.
when I talk to business leaders, um, most of the problems that we face would be a lot easier if our people were, better equipped, better workers, better attitude, we had better people, right? So um, figuring out how to way to turn that into something that's tangible and doable are things that I've worked on for a long, long time. And it comes back to I had a really great boss and a really bad boss.
Sure.
I would run through the wall with a really great boss, and I would look for every opportunity to probably shirk my responsibility for the really bad one.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense to me, and I think that that level of experience, things tend to slow down and simplify themselves as you uh, critically analyze these problems and break them down to the crux. You realize the root of exactly what is happening in the day-to-day operations of your business when you look at things at a high level, and then you can approach those things more specifically. So tell me this, Randy, for people that want to support you or buy something from you, what is the best way to do that? How do they find you, and what exactly are the type of businesses or people that you are looking to work with?
Great question. I mean, obviously, you found me on LinkedIn, so finding me on LinkedIn, you'll see I do a lot of articles, I put a lot of content out there.
I love your content on LinkedIn, by the way. It's great.
I appreciate it, and connect with me there. That would be a good get a taste. It also just gives us a chance to talk. My website is penningtongroup.com, all one word, penningtongroup.com. You'll see if you want to look at books. I've got 3 books out right now. You can find those on Amazon. Just type in Randy Pennington books, and you'll see the 3 of them pop up there. So those would be a great way. I mean, the best way to work with me is for us to start with a conversation. I I really like working with entrepreneurs and small businesses who are excited to do something great with their business and want someone to help bounce things off of and help them be a guide on that journey.
Absolutely. And I think everyone needs that. There's a form of coaching and consulting that can take you to the next level in your business, no matter the industry that you're at. Ask yourself those questions. Listen to the questions that we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, and identify for yourself, are there areas that you believe some of this logic can help you excel? And I believe that for most people, the answer to that will be yes. So thank you very much, Randy, for your time sharing your expertise and your experience with us. I really look forward to putting this out for people in the audience, and for you, Randy. Please share this podcast. Your time is greatly appreciated between me and the audience. I'll say that again. This podcast is sponsored by the MP Group, as always. So for small businesses with credit card needs and solutions, please lean on us. We'd love to help you. Additionally, if you, Randy, or people in the audience know people that would be a good fit for Burn the Ship, you know people that would be willing to share their experiences with us, feel free to tag those people in the comments or let us know the names. We'll reach out to those people because we want to find the people that you guys want to see as well. But I enjoyed our time. Every time we've been able to talk on the phone, I've enjoyed our opportunity for the podcast. So if you have anything to leave the people with, please don't let me cut your time short. But that's all the questions that I have for the day, and I encourage the audience to burn the ship, give it your best shot at your small business, and find people like Randy and myself that are willing to help you.
Well, I appreciate it. I will leave with one thing, and you can see it sort of right over my shoulder. And I think it's one of the things that I want people to understand is good companies change when they have to. Great companies change when they choose to.
Yes, absolutely.
And so choose to be proactive around changing those things that are going to make your business great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Randy. I'll be in touch with you as we get done with things on the production side. You're probably seeing this in early January if you're listening, but thank you very much. I look forward to staying
My
in your
pleasure.
network and
Happy New
finding
Year.
some people to connect you with.
Thank you.
All right. See you.